Did you know that offering the right utilities and amenities can make your MTR stand out without draining your wallet? Today, I'm going to share my strategies on managing utilities and amenities to attract the best tenants and keep costs under control. Welcome back to day 13 of our series, Building a Successful MTR Business. My name is Michelle, and I'm here to help you through your real estate journey by providing you my story that will hopefully inspire you to take a leap of faith and build your legacy while impacting others. So today we're going to talk about utilities and amenities that matter most to tenants and how to manage them effectively to create value while staying within your budget and not actually breaking the bank. Just a quick note, this will be the final day of our series, but it's not the end of our journey together. So stick around and I'll share with you what's coming up next and how this challenge has inspired me for something special that I created for you. So let's get to it. The essentials. What tenants really need are utilities and amenities that can break a tenant's experience, especially for midterm rentals, where comfort and convenience are key. So today, here's what we're going to focus on. Internet and Wi-Fi, that is a huge thing. So high-speed internet is like a non-negotiable, especially if you're having someone stay for 3 to 6 months. They are probably working from your home, or if they have young ones, they're going to all be on the internet. I think that is like our lifeline is the internet. I think everybody could be okay with no cable because they stream everything, but Wi-Fi, that's like a big thing that we must need. I think even when I go and travel, like to Mexico, I may not have like cellular service, but I need Wi-Fi. So it's a non-negotiable. And one of the things that we have started to do is instead of getting the regular actual internet box from our provider, we have bought the Orbeez, which I'll put a link down below. I hope I'm saying them right. And those have actually worked very, very well in our units, in our properties. And we don't have as much downtime or interruptions because there's like one particular home that I can think of that always has interruptions. And so we always have to send out someone and all of that. Another tip, make sure to have the information on how to troubleshoot it handy because I come across this all the time, and sometimes we do have to reset the router or reboot it. So I like to have the pictures and the images available just in case, and it definitely will save you time from having to explain it over and over. Definitely, that is something that you want to make sure that you have. Keep the information in the welcome packet, making sure that there's like simple instructions. So number 2, utilities. Include basic utilities like the water, electricity, trash services in your rental price. We also include the landscaping in there. But what we do also is we bundle it all together with the actual rent, but we do put a cap on it. Our cap is actually pretty high. It's around $350 per property, and these are 3 bedrooms or 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, about 1,800 square feet. So $350, we had to start implementing that because I think one summer, this is when we first started, it was like $700 at one property. So imagine us managing 14 of our own properties. On a consistent basis, it's about $5,000 that we spend just on electricity, not even the rest of the utilities. So since we have implemented this actual rule we put it in the lease agreement, anything after $350 they are responsible for. We rarely have anybody that goes over. Like we haven't had any crazy bills, and this has been implemented for quite some time. But a way that you can actually be able to monitor that is having smart features like a smart thermostat. Having the smart locks, having smart lighting. We have lighting in some of them that we can do. It kind of gets quite expensive, but if you do have it like on the AC, on the thermostat, that's usually what like runs all the time. And sometimes it runs like in between bookings, and you want to make sure that that's like taken care of. So we do have throughout people's stay, we'll go and monitor and kind of give them warnings in regards to that. So you'll be able to monitor it, but we also allow them to like adjust the temperature as well. Because we do have to give some warnings. I think a couple of months ago, someone dropped it to like 60 degrees, and we had to say, hey, if the bill comes out higher than $350 or altogether, you are going to be responsible for that. Another thing is that you do want to give them washer and dryer access, right? If it was a short-term rental, I would say that's not a big thing. Most of the time people don't wash their clothes on a short-term rental, 3 or 4 day stay, but you do want to have this for midterm rentals. You do want to have the laundry, facility, actually have laundry there, and if not, provide laundry services, especially if it's traveling nurses or construction. And the reason why I say that is most of the time for these construction companies, if you put it included in the price and or you say that it's a service, but it's included in the price, they will not mess up. One, keep your linens like super dirty, or two, mess up your actual washer and dryer. Because think about this, most of the time these individuals will come down. Most of them are men, and sometimes they are females, but majority of the time they're men, and they do not like take care of anything. So to prevent it, we've done, hey, we'll get laundered service so it doesn't mess up our washer and dryer. Just put it in this this particular bag. Somebody will come and pick it up, and then they'll drop off your laundry. Because sometimes what I have found out is that we found mud in our washer and dryers. And it's kind of crazy. Obviously, if it's a different type of tenant or guest, then you kind of just use it to your thing. But that's also an additional amenity that you may get good reviews on if you do laundered service or the masseuse. I've said it in some other series. Go check them out in regards to the type of how to make your property kind of stand out and make it a little bit different. So imagine doctors and nurses, if they're always working graveyard shifts and working 12, 14-hour shifts, they probably don't have time, to wash and do laundry. Maybe you offer that as a service. And honestly, most of the time it's like $20 to $45, depending on like what it is. And that's with front door, curbside, front door folded and all that, which could be something that you could offer them. So that is something that, all our properties have washer and dryers on it. Even one that we arbitrage, sometimes the washer and dryer are a little funky, so that we do offer laundry services there. But anyway, you do want to make sure that you have those opportunities, those amenities available. So number 5, fully equipped kitchens. So make sure you provide all the essentials. One of the things that I do is we don't have everything plugged in, because that also, I don't know if it's just kind of a wise tale or something that, we were taught when we were younger. But we don't have all the stuff plugged in. They can plug it in themselves. We're all adults here. But we do offer all of that. And you obviously, one of the things, and I think we mentioned this in the last video or one of the other videos, is you want to offer meal prep. So we work with local companies here that are in the local community, and we're able to, one, get an affiliate program with them, or two, be able to have those, services provided for them. One of the things that I do want to tell you about the utilities, what I've done is I put the utilities, and I didn't do this in the beginning, I don't put them in my personal name. I actually put them under the business. So one of the things is I have my real estate business and everything that my real estate purchases with my LLCs. And then I have my property management business, and everything of the utilities go underneath the property management business. So that also gives me asset protection. Nobody really knows our LLCs. That is in another video that we'll talk about why we kind of split that up. But just think about real estate is what you're holding. A business is what you're running. So you are running a business out of this. And so the utility companies now have it under our business name. That's also, it could be for the tax write-off purposes and all of that. We initially didn't do it for that purpose. But what I will tell you is you do want to have those utilities, if your city allows it, under a business name. It gets a lot easier once you are actually going through the utilities. You want to make sure that you are really taking track. I'll put a link below of kind of what we use. If you don't have QuickBooks, if you're starting on your number one property or number two property, I'll show you the spreadsheet that we use. This is actually something that we use in multifamily, but I've implemented it here in the midterm rentals as well. So you can truly know what your cash flow is. These are things we don't think about, right? So we have the rent. I'm sorry, the daily rent or whatever that is. Then you have when the cleaning service, then you have the landscaper, then you have the pool guy, then you have what your actually the wear and tear, the cost of goods, right? The linens and so forth. Toiletries. Some people don't even, I mean, you'll see the spreadsheet. I keep track of how much toiletries are we having to replenish and how much soap and shampoo. What we do is we will go and do a run. We've changed this over the years many times, but we will go ahead and we'll go to Costco and buy everything, put it in the supply closet, and then we know for every 4 stays how to turn that particular property. And then I know if we're having a midterm rental stay, we will provide a little bit more to those particular guests versus if it's a short stay, then we tell our cleaning crew not to put as much consumables and non-consumables out. But you do want to calculate for that. You're going to call me kind of crazy, but I have per consumer how much it costs in our market and per stay. So like $37.50 is the number that I know that it's per person per stay. And if they're staying for about a month, actually it's about 2 weeks, it's 14 days. That's how much it would cost for them to stay with us, right? So I calculate that because then I know when we, more or less to put in reserves. You always are going to have dirty linen. Something's going to happen. Hopefully nothing happens to the big things like the beds and all of that. But if it does, that's why you have, depending on where it gets booked from, you either have a security deposit or you have air cover if you're going through Airbnb, or you make them actually get renter's insurance as well. So those are kind of the 3 different things of way that you can CYA, especially because you've already paid for these things, right? You always want to make sure that you, in the amenities that you do have your workspace set up for them. Always, if you may not, we did this in the beginning and we put one in every single room. We've learned that that's probably not the best use of for that space. We weren't doing, split pads or any of that. Or pad split, sorry. We weren't doing pad split, but we were offering, a workspace in every one. Now we just have a really designated space for that. And we just provide a desk, chair. Make sure it's like good chair. There's a lighting, but we do not provide printers or any of that. I know other people have, and they will. To each its own. You want to run your business that way? Go ahead and make sure that you can do that. Another thing is with the utilities, I mentioned this before, always try, you can't really do this with water and electricity, but you could do it definitely with your internet service, is see if there's specials and when there's things going on, like recently, just Black Friday just stopped, but there was Black Friday, Cyber Monday, sometimes they want to do all these Black Friday specials or end of the year. You can save costs on that. Alarm system and security. We used to use another type of alarm system. That's considered a utility, right? Because that is an expense. And now we're going into the rings and utilizing the rings. It's really cutting down the cost all the way across compared to what we were using before. So We've been slowly taking these out of our properties. Okay. So lastly, this is not a long one, right? As far as talk about utilities, my biggest tip for you is make sure you just know what your costs are. You're running a business and you want to really know what is it going to cost you? What is your threshold where you're still making money, right? And so I've said this before, but you definitely want to know, okay, how much money you want to make per month on your unit. So though it depends on your market, but remember, more money or more that you can charge, you're going to be putting more amenities, then you're kind of going more to short-term rental. If you're wanting to do something more mid-term rental, you can still get 2 times your long-term rent potentially. That is gross, right? And then you take everything off, you could still make more than what you would do as a long-term rental. So as we talked, the average is $300 to $400 national as far as your net income. And then you have those expenses and so forth. That's on long term. What we're comfortable with is if we make close to $1,000, which we make more, but our minimum threshold is $1,000, I'm happy. If we're making $1,000 net after all the expenses, I'm pretty happy to be able, as far as for that. Now we do sometimes make more. It really just depends on our negotiation of our contract, how long they're staying with us, who's staying with us, and all of that. But I hope this kind of wraps up your kind of utilities. It's not a very sexy topic, but it is something that is necessary to talk about in midterm rentals. So what's next? As we wrap up the series, I want to thank you for joining me on this 13-day journey. I know we did cut it short. It has been incredible sharing these strategies and insights with you, and I hope you're feeling inspired and equipped to grow your midterm rental business. What the big news is this challenge has inspired me to take things a little bit further. And I am excited to announce that I will be hosting a MTR web class very soon. If you enjoyed this series, you'll love the web class because I go a little bit deep dive into more technical reasons on how to be successful in an MTR, and I give you the strategies for success. So if you are interested in joining, type MTR in the chat or click the link below to sign up. This will be an early bird sign up, and then we will send you out an email when we will be actually doing the live web class. It will be a 90-minute live web class, and you'll get more details on that. And though this series is ending, the journey doesn't stop here. I want you to stay tuned for our next series. We'll be talking about one of the most important skill sets in real estate, not just an MTR. It is about how to raise money for your residential investments. This topic is a true game changer, and I can't wait to share it with you and my experience of how I've been able to purchase my midterm rentals with little to no money out of pocket. I've found a private money lender that has actually been able to utilize their 401k or their whole life policy, and they have been able to continue to grow their particular retirement while still helping us, and then them knowing that they're impacting the community as well because they are helping us be able to get these properties furnished and be able to help displaced families, construction workers, and so forth. So it's a win-win, a big circle. I know when I first got started in raising private money, really was scared and I had to shift my mindset, but I'm not going to go too much into the story because I want you to join us. So thank you again for being part of this challenge. And I hope it has encouraged you to take the bold steps towards building wealth, growing your MTR business, and creating your legacy. Until next time, keep building wealth and inspiring others. Bye for now.